She's a comedian, singer, podcaster, reality TV host, proud St. Louis native, and she's currently traveling the country with her Alive and Unwell Tour. So joining me now via Zoom is Nikki Glaser. Nikki, I am pumped to be speaking with you. How are you?
Really? Oh my God, that's so
Yes.
nice. I'm pumped to speak to you too. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So there's so many things we could cover. So let's just start with the most important thing here. You will be in town in Springfield this Friday, August 16th at Hammons Hall for your Alive and Unwell Tour. Kind of tell people what they can expect from you during this.
I mean, it is all new material. If you saw my HBO special, which came out in May, you might recognize like one or two lines from that, but it's a whole completely new hour. It's just a new hour that I've been developing since I taped that special back in December. It's just me, unbridled stories and jokes and just things that I never thought I would tell anyone. I'm telling to a crowd of thousands of people, which is the joy of my job, is that things that you thought maybe I could only tell a therapist or like a really trusted friend. I don't even tell those people the things that I speak into a microphone on stage. It's like it's a wild experience, and I just love performing live because there's stuff that I'll say on stage that night that I will probably never put on to tape, because it's like it's only happening in this room. Like it doesn't
Sure.
leave this room. It just feels like you're sharing an intimate moment that night with the people that decide to come to that show. It's like we all have this secret to keep the rest of our lives. Like I know what you did last summer or something.
Yeah, no, I love this. Well, and it's almost like one of those like FaceTime calls you have with your best friend, but it just stays between the two of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it feels intimate. It feels like I make like friends that night. It feels like we all are in this together laughing about things that maybe feel a little like wrong to laugh about, but like it releases something for me and I think for the audience because they're hearing things that they relate to that they maybe never been able to articulate and maybe they felt bad about even thinking those things, but here I'm on stage saying them out loud and everyone's laughing. So we all kind of like agree that we all have these thoughts sometimes. So
Sure.
it's just if you've never been to a comedy show, which I think a lot of people haven't, it's such a fun experience, and it's not my show isn't the type where you're going to get picked on if you sit I'm not going to be able to see you. It's
Sure.
lit in a way that the audience, you're in the dark so you can laugh at things, and I'm not going to call you out. You can get up to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to be like, "Who's this lady going to poop?" Like I'm not going
Yeah.
to make fun of you. It's a really safe space. You can go alone, and I'm not going to like be like, "Who's this guy by himself?" Like I really encourage people to just go to a comedy show if you've never been because it's an endorphin release. You
Yeah.
really aren't focused on you can't really think about the stuff going on in your life when you're like
Sure.
actively listening to someone and
Yeah.
laughing. I mean, you go to a concert and you can kind of like connect the songs to like whatever stuff you're going through and you can work through things, but you're still focused on yourself and your mind wanders. When you're at a comedy show, you really your worries kind of disappear and
Yeah.
then your body is laughing and you just feel it's like good for depression. It's just good for your overall health to go laugh. And so I love being able to provide that service, but it also feels really good to get that back from the crowd. Like I feel so great after shows. It's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we all need more of, just to laugh and let go a little bit. So, briefly tell me about,
Yes.
you hinted at your HBO special that just recently came out. Tell me what it was like kind of making that and creating that.
I mean, it was my fourth hour special, but I've done a bunch of, half hour ones as well. So it's really exciting. I'm nominated for an Emmy for it. And so that was the first time that's ever happened. And it was just, I made it, with, some really impressive people that usually produce things that aren't like a dirty comedian special.
Sure.
So I would just looked at my material through a different lens and was like really trying to treat myself like a star. And I think that a lot of times as a comedian who started out performing in sports bars and just like crappy comedy clubs in, small towns in Ohio, like you just feel like I'm never going to reach that level. And you kind of in the back of your head
Yeah.
always feel like, oh, I don't deserve this level of success or this kind of attention, like being treated like an actual star. And I think that was the first time I was like kind of forcing myself, like, no, actually treat yourself like you're Taylor Swift. Like just try it on. And I don't ever believe that truly at my core. I still have a little bit of imposter syndrome. But I think that's healthy. I never want to get too big for my britches. I'm always walking out on stage and like seeing everyone that's there. I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like I think there's something refreshing about that it's not going to my head and it won't anytime soon. I try to stay as grounded as possible. And that's why I live in St. Louis. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I stay away from the coast because I just don't want to get wrapped up in show business and thinking I'm more important than other people because I'm quote unquote famous. Like, I think I like to stay grounded and I like to feel like just a normal person that just happens to do this really cool thing for a living, but that doesn't make me any different than anyone else. And
Mm.
but yeah, this HBO special, the Emmy nomination, yeah, I'm living that kind of like glamorous lifestyle. I dip my
Sure.
toe in for a little
Sure.
bit.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the Emmy nom, by the way, and your success
Thank
is
you.
deserved. Okay, your single that you just released. So I just actually kind of watching your reality show to prep for this last night, and I thought it was so funny because I didn't know that you actually like sang, and you're very good, by the way. And so
Oh,
I was
that's
listening to your
nice.
single on the drive in this morning. So tell me a little bit about making that, because I know that's got to be pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, I mean, singing is something I always wanted to do as a career, but this just never had like the natural talent of it. And I kind of looked at singing as like, oh, it's something that you're either born with or, it's not something you could develop. So I kind of abandoned it early because it just didn't seem like I had the talent for it. And then, when COVID hit, I was just like, couldn't go on stage anymore to do comedy, so I just picked up a guitar and would just, like, sing in my room, and I was like, "Oh, I'm getting better the more I do this," and I was like, "Oh, is this a thing that you just, like, if you work at it, you get better, like, like comedy was?" And it really is, and so I was like, "Well, maybe I'll just, commit to this in the way that I did to comedy when I was 18 years old, and it might take me 10 years to be at the place where I feel comfortable sharing this with the world." But it was sooner than that because
Sure.
I was like, "Oh, I I'm okay with being where I'm at in with my voice." But in terms of like writing songs, I'm like, "Oh, I've been writing jokes and I'm a writer. Like I should be pretty good at writing songs." But I've always been scared to do it. But for my special, I I wanted a song for the credits, and they're like, to buy a song to put on your special, it's like $30,000, and we were over budget at that point, and it was going to come out of my pocket, and I was
Wow.
like, I'm not spending $30,000 on a song that most people won't even listen to because it's the credits and who watches the credits. And so I was like, what if I just wrote a song and I just threw it out as like a joke? And then everyone that was on my production team was like, yeah, you should do that. That's a great idea. And me, I'm scared. I'm sure everyone relates to this. Like, you're just scared to do something because you like think you could probably do it, but if you do it and you fail, then it like ruins this dream you have of
Mm.
yourself. But I was like, oh, I guess I just have to do this. And I did it. And just came out very easily. It was so much fun. Have I written a second song? No. Am I
No.
terrified to do so? Yes.
Yeah.
Will I ever do it? Who knows? But I
Who's to
did
say?
it once, and that's like kind of all I needed. But I
Sure.
do hope to write more songs in the future and work in comedy songs in my act. I haven't found a way to do it yet, but it was really gratifying. The song's called Someday You'll Die, and I really love it. It's kind of funny and dark, and it's like it really captures like my sense of humor and my like just the way I feel about myself and life, and
Sure.
I found it a really cathartic way to you know express myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my final question for you, real quick. So, you've done so many things between you've dabbled in reality TV, you're obviously a comedian, you've sang, you have podcasts, you do all these amazing things. Anything that you still are kind of hoping to achieve, or maybe you want to work towards that you haven't tried yet in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to. My biggest goal is to work with Taylor Swift in some way, like be in a comedy sketch in one of her videos, or um, even like punch up a monologue for her to do on SNL, or like just some way collaborate with her in an artistic way, or just like have just have some kind of professional interaction with her. Like obviously I want to be her friend and I just want to be in her circle, but I really want to like offer her what I can give her in some way, and like
Okay.
maybe she can offer. I know she could offer me a ton, but I would really like to collaborate with her in some way. That would be like the ultimate goal. But I think that's really what it all comes down to, is like the things I want to do in the future are just, I want to work with people that I've always really admired. So like
Mhm.
working with like Julia Louis Dreyfus or Jennifer Aniston, or like just these people that I've always really looked up to. That's been the coolest part of my career, is becoming friends and like friendly with people that I've admired so much. Like I was really good friends with Bob Saget, which was like grew up watching him, and it's like
Yeah.
pinching myself. Like I can't believe I personally know this person that I grew up. This guy is like a father figure in my life even before I knew him, and now he actually is one. And
Yeah.
I work regularly with David Spade, who is like one of my biggest comedic influences, and he's a friend of mine. And it's like I just want to keep kind of collecting friends, people in the business who I've looked up to and always felt like so removed from. I want to keep collecting them as friends and as colleagues. That would be those are really the goals that I have. It's just making more connections with my heroes.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like that's something a lot of people relate to, you know? Nikki, it's been such a joy speaking with you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Nikki's Alive and Unwell Tour this Friday, August 16th here in Springfield at Hammons Hall. Get your tickets now and go check her out, or just go watch her HBO special, whatever you prefer. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you so much. So good talking to you.